Let me tell you the reason why Matt Gaetz likely withdrew his name. So let's go all the way back to 2021. Matt Gaetz has an associate named Joel Greenberg, who was being investigated for several different crimes, and among them trafficking of one 17-year-old child. And in cooperation with the investigators, and he ultimately decided to turn state witness and start cooperating. During his cooperation and investigation, he gave up Matt Gaetz. He said Matt Gaetz was part of parties where they were exchanging cash for acts with young women, including one 17-year-old girl. So this guy got convicted for that. There's an allegation that this guy gave a letter and asked for pardon. So on Donald Trump's on his way out, that there was a lot of people asking for pardons, especially around the January 6th, event. And Joel Greenberg went on behalf of himself and Matt Gaetz to ask for a pardon. At that time, Matt Gaetz had not been convicted. As a matter of fact, Matt Gaetz said that it was part of extortion to even mention his name, that he had no idea what this was going on, that this is not true. He was not participating. He did not participate in this at all. So Roger Stone, remember, another Trump associate, another former Trump administrator or executive who went to jail. During his trial, this mention of this letter came up. Also, Cassidy Hutchinson, who you guys probably know, turned state as well, and she did. She was a witness in front of congressional hearings, and she also sort of alleged this. And there's another staffer. So there's three former Trump staffers who corroborated that there was a letter presented to Donald Trump, including one on behalf of Matt Gaetz, to be pardoned, even though Matt Gaetz, no charges, no crimes whatsoever. Again, the one time there was an investigation, it was dropped. But the reason why it was dropped is because, and then there's record and evidence to say this, is because they didn't have enough evidence and the witness weren't credibility. Essentially, some of the witnesses were just like, why are you trying to do this? Because I got paid. So, even though young people, maybe a 17-year-old girl was like, I'm not going to participate in this because I was a willing party to it and I did it on my own. So what is the crime? So without that, they were like, okay, fine. Never mind. The House ethics were investigating since around that time, 2021, doing their report. So they got lots of information. So right before they were about to issue this report, Matt Gaetz resigned because he figured the day before, if I resign, they can't issue it. There is precedent for someone resigning and they still releasing a public report. As of yesterday, Wednesday, the committee meets. It's 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats, and they decided because there was the 5 Democrats said, yeah, release it. The 5 Republicans were like, no. So there's no decision because it was tied. All they needed was one Republican to agree to release it. Since no Republican agreed to release it, they're in limbo. But that doesn't mean anything. Meanwhile, a lot of the senators, including the principal senators, Susan Collins, who she'll say something, but then we remember her from Brett Kavanaugh. Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. And there were several other Republicans who I call them principled Republicans who aren't beholden to MAGA. Some of them are on their way out. The guy who was replacing Mitt Romney in Utah, I forget his name, that senator, they all were like, I don't know about all this. This is not looking good. So here's the thing. And this is what happens historically. And also Mitch McConnell, he's wishy-washy. He goes back and forth. So what happens with all presidential Senate nomination picks is whoever is the Senate majority leader, because again, the Senate confirms cabinet picks. Whoever is a Senate majority leader Senate majority leader at the time will go to his caucus, meaning everyone from his party, if his party's in control. And he will do an internal, private, behind the doors, survey to say, do you think you're going to confirm this guy? What are the likelihood? What would it take for you to do it? He does that behind closed door. After he does that behind closed door, meeting with all of them, he tallies votes. Then he goes to the candidate and he says, look at here. You look like you're not going to get confirmed. It's going to be an uphill battle. And then you can go ahead and withdraw, or you can not withdraw and go through the whole sentence and you still might not win. So when you go on the docket, when you go on the hearing, all your business is out. So do you want to go all your businesses out and risk to not even get confirmed? If all your businesses go out and you get confirmed, well, at least you confirm. But all your businesses out and you don't get confirmed, first of all, it's embarrassing because they don't really not confirm people. The last time somebody was not confirmed was George H.W. Bush. That's not a thing. They don't not confirm people. That's why it's your job as a president is only put forth candidates you really will confirm. That's why Donald Trump put on these crazy picks is crazy. So what happens is the people don't want to go through that embarrassing process, especially if there's something in their records that's embarrassing and not get confirmed. They would just withdraw. So that's how the process is. So they withdraw because they don't want to be embarrassed. And I'm not saying anything. I'm not alleging anything on whether he did it or not. I am not. I'm just telling you this is what happens. His co-conspirator, not co-conspirator, somebody who he knows mentioned him. He said it was part of a like extortion thing. He said he didn't do it. Any activities he had with these young girls was before he was married, and he said none of them was. Nobody was under 17, and anytime he did have any relation with anybody 17, he was a teenager himself. So he's like, this is, I don't know nothing about this. But what happens is, if all these activities happen, if there's all these parties involved, including the young girls who did not want to participate, who did not want to like cooperate and help them bring down Matt Gaetz, any one of them, anybody could leak. There's so much information out there, so many people involved. It's a matter of time that something leaks, and you just don't know. And leaks happen all the time. So if the risk of something embarrassing leaking is probably like, you know what, it's probably my best interest to just go ahead and like bow out now and possibly get this report not. If I'm out, maybe I can stop the report from getting leaked. Getting out. So let me just bow out. So he was doing it to protect himself, to essentially say, you know what, at the end of the day, I am still married. I have family. I do like a future and something, because he's no longer in Congress. And with all these scandals, I don't know if he's going to be able to get back in. So you know what, let me just go ahead and protect whatever I have left and just bow out. So that's why most likely he bowed out, because it was just, he most likely was not going to get the nomination anyway, based on, again, Mitch McConnell's survey of the Senate. So that's one. And then second, it's a risk to just have a lot of information. And it's a risk that if he has been doing dirty, and if what these people say happened, then it's just a matter of time. Y'all saw what happened with Bill Cosby, with Harvey Weinstein, with what's the next one? Diddy. It only take one, and then next, the floodgates. So if he has had a long history of doing these things, which I'm not saying he did, if he did, and there's a lot of parties involved, he don't know all those people. He don't know what the situation is. He don't know who needs some money, who's going to get. He doesn't know. So that's why. At the end of the day, Donald Trump knew very well, most likely not, because if he really did get a letter asking for a pardon, I'm not saying he did. If Joe Greenberg did give him a letter on behalf of himself asking for a pardon, then he was well aware about these allegations, and he chose to nominate him anyway. So if anything, Donald Trump threw him underneath the bus. And or it could have been throwing him a lifeline, because he was like, he knew this was going to go down, and he probably said, this is one way to escape it, because if you're the attorney general, you can squash all those and punish all those people the way I got back president, and the way I'm about to start doing it to other people. So that could have been, what could have happened. Who knows? I don't know. That's the tea. But yeah, so that's what it is. So that's one down. I'm hoping that Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., and Pete Hegseth don't get nominated. The rest of the people are going to be terrible, but whatever. I don't think none of them are going to burn the house down. I don't think any of them is unqualified. Those are the only three that I really just think would be terrible to be nominated. Me personally, the rest are, but I don't think they're going to be too bad. They're going to be bad, but they're just not going to be as bad as those three. Yeah, not Tulsi. Tulsi. I won't say anything else. TikTok may or may not approve this video, so we'll see.